Shalom everyone! This week we will learn about Parsha Tetzaveh, the one Parsha since we met Moshe Rabbeinu where his name does not appear. In this week's Parsha, we're taught about the clothing that the Kohen wears, the Kohen Gadol, the average Kohen. We know that Aaron was the head Kohen, Kohen Gadol, and he had 8 unique garments that he wore. One of those garments was the Choshen, called the breastplate. It was about like one arm's width by one fist by one fist. So it wasn't very big, made of cloth, and it had 12 stones on it. And on each of those stones was the name of one of the tribes. Now, every stone was a different color. The Torah tells us which colors, which type of stones each tribe had. And the stones represented the traits of each tribe. We know that every tribe has unique traits. And so the tribes, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, all the tribes appeared on the 12 stones of the breastplate. And each one had a different color. And that was the color of each tribe's flag. And each tribe had a different talis that they would wear. They had a different design on their talis. Because as a Jewish people, though we're united, but we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to have our own personality traits. And that mesh of all of us, that's what actually is perfection. When we're different and you create that beautiful tapestry of vibrant colors, of vibrant qualities and traits, together, we form the great Jewish people. And so Aaron would carry on his heart. Aaron, who heard his younger brother was going to usurp him, and he has such a pure heart that he's happy that his younger brother, Moshe, is taking the leadership role. He could carry on his heart the names of the Jewish people. And here we learn a few things. Number one, if earlier in the Torah we did not know that the tribes ended up such big tzaddikim, one could question it. But Hashem says, I want to remember them forever. They are forever supposed to be a part of my Mishkan. I want their names engraved. Vayu lefanai tamid. Hashem says, I want to always see those 12 tribes. You know, there isn't a single pasuk. We don't have one sentence from the man named Dan, one of the tribes. Most of the tribes, we never heard them say a word in the whole Torah. We don't know anything they said. But we know that in our Parsha, Hashem says, the Kohen Gadol is going to wear shoulder stones on his shoulders, and 6 tribes on each shoulder is going to be engraved. Hashem says, I want to see the tribes. I love them so much. The Talmud even asks, are they part of the patriarchs? The Talmud says, no, they're not. But they are so great that there was even room to ask the question. And that's part of what we discover in our Parsha. So the Torah describes to us the royal garb that the Kohen Gadol would wear, which was actually what royalty used to wear in those days. It was a copy, so to speak, of what other kings would wear. But the Torah tells us the holy way that Hashem wants the Kohen Gadol to wear it. And every garment that the Kohen Gadol wore affected the Jewish people. It brought us forgiveness for things that we would do wrong. Maybe say Lashon Hara if a person spoke inappropriately about someone else. So the coat that the Kohen Gadol wore, with its bells, with its rimonim, with its pomegranates, with its beautiful shapes, and its beautiful blue dye, that robe, the mere fact that the Kohen Gadol wore it, would be a source of atonement for the Jewish people. So at the end of the parasha, we learn about 2 interesting sacrifices. One is the Korban Tamid. Every day of the year, no exceptions. We begin the day by bringing a sacrifice, and we end the day by bringing a sacrifice. And this sacrifice is called Korban Tamid, the consistent sacrifice. On Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Rosh Chodesh, every day of the year, you always began with the Tamid of the morning and ended with the Tamid of the afternoon, and it teaches us a concept. We mimic that concept with praying every day of the year. Every day of the year, a Jew prays in the morning and in the evening. And that mimics the commandment to always connect our Creator at the start of our day and at the end of our day. The end of the parasha tells us about the Ketores, that there was a secret blend of spices that was burnt on a special small altar. It was 1 amma by 1 amma, about 22 inches by 22 inches. That was the size of the top of this altar. And on this altar, twice a day, every morning and every evening, the Kohen Gadol would come and he would burn this spice. And its smell was so powerful that miles away you could smell it, from Jerusalem till Jericho. The goats would sneeze in Jericho from the smell of the Ketores. Meaning, when you would approach the temple, miles away you could already smell the smell of this wonderful smell of the ketores that was being burnt in the Beit HaMikdash. And our sages say that there was a secret blend of how to make it. We have a commandment not to replicate anything that was made in the Beit HaMikdash. You're not allowed to build a home based on the measurements of the Mishkan. You're not allowed to replicate the oil of the Mishkan or the ketores of the Mishkan. But the smell was so powerful so that even though when you came into the Beit HaMikdash, there were all kinds of fats being offered, you could have smelled barbecue all the time, and that would have been nauseating. But this commandment of making this beautiful smell every morning and every evening, this is what permeated the Beit HaMikdash. And so it affected people that when they came, they felt uplifted as they smelt the beautiful smell of the Ktoret. Shabbat Shalom.